Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Welcome, and thank you for stopping by. It's hard to believe. It's the 362nd episode of the number one rated show here on IPMNation.com. Of course, I'm talking about All Natural Being. You're in to the gong heard round the world. Let me get over here to Facebook, make sure I'm doing this just right. Broadcast happens thanks to our friends at Wirecast, Telestream's Wirecast, right here on IPMNation.com, and, of course, multicast live on Facebook, which might be where you are as well, YouTube over at allnaturalbeing.com, and then also, look at that, also at the new Brian Brawdy app. But however you come to hang with us, we're always pumped to have you. It's a lot easier than having you here in the studio, because it's a little bit of a mess, to be honest with you. But we're always live from the Transitional Radio Uplink here in Columbus, Ohio. I'm told 39.5 degrees north of the equator. I think Henry in our Cuenca studios is 2 degrees south of the equator, but you get that. With rebroadcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all the usual suspects. Greetings wherever you are, here in the Garden of the Mortals. And what a gig it truly is. I'm fired up. All kinds of big news tonight. But before we do that, remember that life is your labyrinth. This is your shot right now to mortal up, to run the table as you see fit. The hell with your critics. Everyone's got something to say. But for you and me, it's time to ignore them and to own your primal scream. Not place it on the back burner, but front and center, where it belongs, right on the top of your heart. See, 2 degrees. Oh, look at that. 2 degrees south of the equator. Thank you, Henry. That's why we're here, to be your friendly force, to be your blue force, as I've called it before, putting your heart's highest priority top of the list. And in those occasions where you have to ignore your head, listen to your heart. Reinstating the true wit, wisdom, and wallop of your inner whisper. Rebooting your robust, finding your ferocious, all in time to out-brutal the brutal. You got to admit, life can be tough. It can be in the cut and shuffle that fate deals us on a daily basis. It can be the reason to bring your own bold once and for all. But before we hit it this evening, I want to say hello to my friends here in the United States and Canada and run down a quick list. So if there's other 190 countries around the world, you can give them a holler. Say, tune in. Mexico, the UK, Ecuador, China, Philippines, Brazil, India, Australia, Germany, Italy, France, Nigeria, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Belgium, Sweden, Israel, South Africa, Egypt and Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands, Colombia, Greece, Ireland, Peru, Poland. Wasn't counting my fingers fast enough. I don't know how many that is, but we'd like to get all 190 some. But thank you for joining us from all over the globe. It really is great to be hanging out with you. I truly am fired up to be driving your bandwagon. If you're coming to us, you're listening on IPMNation.com/TR now. I love being a virtual hitchhiker. I love being avidly you. But before we jump into tonight's show, let me ask you, why would you let anyone, yourself included in times, you got to admit, but why would you let anyone hijack your head, play you like a sock puppet? The days of needlessly torturing yourselves by being someone else's tool, well, they're over. It's time for you and I to take life into our own hands. And so what are we waiting for? Here's your opportunity. We're going to talk tonight about Mortal Up. So what do you say? It's about time to go kick in some doors, and that's a part of the big news we have tonight. I want to thank Heather, in case she's watching, listening in over at Creative Graphics, Inc., here in the outskirts of Columbus, Ohio, for coming up and helping us with the shirt Mortal Up. It's going to be our new hashtag, as you can probably tell. And really, it was born out of my understanding of just the last 2 years of my life and going, really, look, the only reason that I was able to bounce back from this, when my doctor said, look, if you can help your own immune system, you're going to have the ability to bounce back from this. So it didn't take long for me to put 2 and 2 together. 2 and 2 makes 5, you know what I mean? But to put the numbers together and go, wait a minute, if my biological immune system is such that if I really help it, if I watch the oxidative stress that, brought on by the free radical free-for-all, as I like to call it, if I watch the oxidative stress, that's entirely possible my biological immune system will help me heal. But what if I focus on my philosophical immune system? What if binge thinking and the oxidative stress that comes from binge thinking, that comes from constantly subjugating ourselves to the committee vote, that comes from having thin skin, if I can alter my biological immune system, wouldn't it stand to reason that I could alter my philosophical immune system? And in doing so, I really could bounce back, right? Even though my doctors say you're a freak of nature, no one ever really thought you'd be able to pull it off. We thought you were going to have your shunt all your life, but that's not necessarily the case. And I think why Mortal Up has become so important to me is, believe me, trust me, ask any of my friends here in the thread, or my brothers, my family members for certain. There's nothing all that special about me, right? I don't have one unique skill set you would go, oh yeah, that makes him special. That makes him the sharpest knife in the drawer. Not true. But what I do believe is in the human being's ability to surmount almost anything. Once you remember that your potential is literally just this side of infinity. When we don't listen to the thin skins wrapped, you know what I mean? The hotheads, all the people screaming, hollering, and carrying on. What does your heart tell you? What does it take to put your heart's highest priority top of your list? And if we do that, if we mortal up, I believe there isn't anything we can't handle. I saw something earlier today where a college, and I don't want to say the university because it's the university that my wife went to, and I'd really like to have someone to eat dinner with tonight. So in the interest of full disclosure, I'm not going to mention the university's name because then I got to wonder, am I going to eat by myself? You know how that's all going to unfold if I happen to drop a name. So I won't say Ohio University, or at least I won't say it out loud. I might be thinking it, but I would never say Ohio University out loud, right? I'll just keep it to myself. But now they're thinking, oh, you know what would be a great idea? Let's build a workout room. Let's build a small gymnasium. Let's build an athletic center for minorities, right? No, I guess majority, right? The opposite of minority. No majority allowed, just for minorities, sexual assault victims, people that are easily triggered, right? They wanted to build this. And then I thought, why not just mortal up? Why stop encouraging people to believe that they need safe spaces, that they need trigger-free zones, that they need bubble wrap around their brains? So Mortal Up is my attempt to stand up to the people that are hell-bent on watering down human wherewithal. Ever guilty of that? Turning a blind eye and a deaf ear to your heart's highest calling? Turning a blind eye and a deaf ear to your primal scream? Where's that gotten you? I can tell you where it's gotten me at the times that I've allowed that to happen. But born out of this, and my doctor saying, look, you got to be your immune system's new best friend. All I did was extrapolate it one step further. Right. Like my biological immune system or my philosophical immune system. And if I could watch the oxidative stress of physical trauma, right, or philosophical trauma, then my body should be able to heal and no one will be able to stand in my way. So when I talk about mortal up, it's more like a suggestion going, look, you know you're capable of pulling off some truly amazing things. Why do we let people talk us out of our abilities? Why do we let people chop block us? The alternative is we could mortal up, square our shoulders with fate, and go, is that all you brought? That's your best attempt at derailing me? Not going to happen. Right? And as I said, nothing all that special about me. If I can pull it off, you can pull it off. So just so you know, that's where I'm headed with all this. Let me say good evening to John. Thank you for joining us. Sherry, nice to see you. Henry, thank you so much. Lee, thank you for joining us. Alice, always a pleasure. Thank you so very much. David, thank you. Even transitional radio. Look at that. Joseph, greetings and salutations to you as well. Paul, nice to see you. Thank you very much. It's good to be back, my friend. Thank you, Paul, very much. Rita, nice to see your smile as always. Wayne, thank you for listening in. We're trying something new here tonight. Good evening, Mary. How are you? Nice to see you. I thought about you today, Mary. We're supposed to get some snow here tonight, maybe like an inch. Mortal up or cower. That's right, Henry. Absolutely. You can mortal up or cower. The choice is always yours. So we're testing out something a little different tonight because Wayne is in our Michigan studios. Henry is in our studios in Cuenca, Ecuador. I'm in our studios here in Columbus, Ohio, actually a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. But so what we're going to do is at 8:29 we'll be able to kill the signal so that you can head on over to Thinking Re-Envisioned with Henry Noel right at the bottom of the hour. But before we do that, don't forget, toll-free number, 833-MINDUPS, just like sit-ups or push-ups or pull-ups, mind-ups. Those things that we can do to help bolster our philosophical immune system. Now, that's not to say we're not going to bolster our biological immune system, but those things we can do to mortal up and how we can stand up to those people that go, oh, we need a safe space. We need bubble wrap. We need a trigger-free zone. We need stuffed animals and hot chocolate. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love a good cup of hot chocolate, especially when it's got like those little mini marshmallows on it. Just the deal. Don't you get where I'm going with this? Because you have entire groups of people that want you to believe that you're fragile, that you're easily subject to trauma. They want you to believe that you're timid. They want you to walk on eggshells because, you could break your eggshell. And I say all the time, how about the trauma that's recorded when you have a spine of rebar? And they want to convince you that not only do you have a spine of balsa wood, that your skin is about as thick as, saran wrap? Probably can't say saran wrap. Probably get sued, right? Saran wrap. But what would it take for you to decide, I'm not going to listen to him anymore. I'm going to mortal up. I'll do some mind-ups. I'll do some things. And most of it begins with maybe just having a heart-to-heart, literally a heart-to-heart with yourself and go, what is my heart's highest calling? What do I want to do to be successful? What is it ultimately that I'm here to pull off? Now, whether you believe in the Big Bang or the Big Breath, whether we got tossed out of Eden or walked off the savannas of Africa, all of that kind of stuff. I love this ancestry DNA. And I'm thinking, even though I've railed against it for quite a while, I'm thinking that I might do this ancestry DNA test because who knows, maybe I have some Native American in me and I could wear a headdress here. And, it would just be great if I had like 11 different nationalities, and then I can culturally appropriate all 11. So basically what I'll be doing is we'll be talking, I'll duck down, and then when I pop back up, I have a new culture that I'm appropriating. And see, right, maybe we'll have a stopwatch, see how many cultures I can actually appropriate in a particular amount of time. Maybe there's a Guinness World Record for that, I should see. Chances are pretty good they're not going to approve that. But that's why I think, it would be great. Joseph says ADD has value. I'm all over that. If you don't have a deficit of attention, what kind of attention do you really have, right, Joseph? So that's my calling tonight. What would it take for you to put your heart's highest priority top of your list? What would it take for you to put yourself at the front of the line? What would it take for you not to buy into this? We're all, sticks and stones. I was talking to Wayne about this the other day. Sticks and stones might break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Well, all of a sudden, now names are toxic. Someone can call you. Why would you let anyone derail you? Why would you let anyone's words change your temperature 1 degree either way? So that's the question that we're going to focus on tonight. What can we do to mortal up? And I think the first part of that is remembering who we ultimately are. Henry says, you should. I live to know what Neanderthal group you came from. Oh, yeah, me too. Right? I would love to know. Except I don't have that strength. I don't have that, like that Neanderthal muscle, I think, that everyone talks about. I don't think I have that. I'll get in trouble for that, for saying that genetically Neanderthals were different than we were. Dallas, thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. We're talking about, and a special thank you also to Wayne Noel today, who helped change across the platform. You may notice here on Facebook that we're going to move on with the message of Mortal Up. You may also notice it on Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, LinkedIn. We're going to switch over to the Mortal Up message, easy for me to say. We're going to change over to the Mortal Up message because I believe that's what's going to save us in the future. Good evening, Donald. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. We're talking about the concept of mortal up. What does it mean to put your heart's highest priority on top of your list, to hell with everyone, all of your critics, right? The walking, talking pits of quicksand. The Venus flytraps, right? Just waiting for you. Oh, look, over here. Come on, land in here. Looks like a nice gooey center. What if it would, what would our life be like? Hi, Dallas. Good evening, Kelly. Thank you so very much for joining us, hanging out here at All Natural Being. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. What would it take for you to put your heart's highest priority top of your list? No more binge thinking. No more living by the committee vote. No more letting other people tell you what it is that you're going to do to put a smile on your own face. Let them cry. Let them whine. But you're going to mortal up. And look what happens. Everyone is betting against us. Everyone. All you got to do is turn on the TV. You see examples of everyone that's suggesting, oh, you should be timid, or at least you should be triggered. You should be fragile. You should be breakable. You should be all these other things. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. Why start drinking that Kool-Aid? Where did we ever get to the point where we started falling for that? Human beings can withstand some truly amazing things. I think of Lewis and Clark. I think of Shackleton. I think of, you just look at some of the stories of the explorers and the adventurers. Well, technically, they're not built a whole lot different, or they weren't built a whole lot different than you and I. Right? They could pull it off. You and I could pull it off. So that's the question that I have. What keeps you from putting your heart's highest priority top of your list? What keeps you from waking up and having a smile on your face? What keeps you from taking the shot? We had a term in law enforcement, from taking the shot. We're only here for a little bit of time, some of us less than others. Why would you let anyone talk you out of who you ultimately are? That potential, that passion. My friend Ejirba and I, we like to share the term that, just be mouth-watering to yourself. Why would we ever let them play us like a sock puppet? What's the alternative? To mortal up. To stand up to those that are trying to water down human wherewithal. The hell with human wherewithal. Trying to water down your wherewithal. Yeah, they want you to have skin in the game, but they want it to be thin skin. Right? They're not particularly, well, they want to make sure that you're not comfortable in your own skin. They want to make sure that they can reach in and tweak it, and that's why they're all the time working to make it thinner and thinner and thinner. They think, oh, if I just attack you, then I can turn up the volume. I can rile you. I can trigger you. Listen to these words. Think about it. Oh, that's a trigger word. No, it isn't. It's like believing a gun fires itself. Oh, wait a minute. What was that sound? Oh, yeah, that was one of my rifles going off upstairs in the gun safe. It has a mind of its own. Just decided to fire. But really, we can be triggered by the words of another? Why let them in? And that's my question this evening. Also this evening, we're going to do this thing where Henry gets to call in a little bit, not gets to call in, but we're thankful that he will call in just a little bit, give us an idea of what Thinking Re-Envisioned will be about tonight. And then tonight will be the first night. Thank you again to Matt Connerton at IPMNation.com for working with it today to figure out exactly what it is we need to do to be able to pull this all off. Thank you, Matt. If you haven't had a chance to check out the new website, ipmnation.com, that'd be a great way to do it. Rita says, lack of confidence, fear, being made fun of, losing, so-called friends. I'm all over it. But we could say, your definition of my confidence isn't important. Your definition of my fear isn't important. Henry says, we better mortal up. It's only us. We will improve. I think he's absolutely right about that. All right, let's see if this is it. Hello. There we go. If I push this button. Good evening. Is this Henry?
Good evening, Mr. Brawdy. How are you, sir?
I'm just laughing with Wayne because he's like, look, I swear I will cut you off mid-sentence if you go 1 second over 29:30. And then I'm just laughing at myself going, I don't know if he can reach in here. But then who knows what Wayne knows with computers, right? There's times I'm just standing here in the studio and all of a sudden I look over, my mouse is moving around. And Wayne goes, oh, yeah. Got in Team Viewer. Just thought I'd come in and clean some stuff up. So who knows what he can do. But all right, brother, what's thinking Oh, and congratulations. I think I heard from Matt today that you moved up from the number 4 slot to the number 3 slot. That took you all of about 35 seconds. So congratulations.
Believe me, I can't explain it. I really can't. I mean, I thank everybody for sticking with me. I really appreciate that, and I know I put them through some pretty dull times, I think. But no, that's amazing. I got shocked when I saw that. I couldn't believe that.
Very cool. Well, congratulations again. And so let me get this because Wayne's, we're just waiting. He goes, Bri, I have a finger. I'm gonna hit delete right now if you go over your call time. So it's like a bit like being back in TV when Sue used to be screaming in my ear going, time to wrap. And you'd have to hit a hard break because there was a commercial, and then all of a sudden you'd see the camera lights go. You could stand there and talk all you wanted. You were no longer on air, so it really didn't matter. So before we're both have to suffer the indignity of having a sentence cut off. Oh, I've already hacked in just in case. I know Wayne. That's what I love about him. What's the show about tonight? Thinking Re-Envisioned is at the bottom of the hour, 8:30 to 8:59:30.
Right.
What's the show all about tonight?
Actually, this is Free for All Thursday. I've opened the thread for people to go ahead and just give me what they want to talk about.
Oh, great.
They've had to listen to me for 4 days, so
Really?
I may as well I may as well be listening to them for a change, and let's talk about what they want to talk about.
That's a great idea. Maybe someone could call in and go, hey, I don't know, I'm a little new to this idea of mortal up, but I love that, right? Maybe people just will feel free to throw out their expression and tell you exactly what they're thinking.
Well, that and exactly where to go. I mean, that's fine. I can get a one-way ticket, but it's to me, think about it. Between you and I, and no, because nobody's listening. So,
Right.
So just between you and I.
Sure.
I mean, the idea that everybody tunes in and listens both on the live radio, on the rebroadcast, and then on the YouTube and on Facebook. I mean, why shouldn't they have a chance to have voice? They're
I think it's a great idea.
What they want to talk about. And so I'm an equal opportunity critic, and so why not? Let's just let that happen.
I think it's a great idea. So Free for All Thursdays are what you're going to call it.
Yep.
Well, I'm excited about it. I'll listen in from here and there, but I'm getting ready for a big day tomorrow. You know what I'm doing tomorrow?
No.
My first day under the tutelage, under the wing, right? Right? What's the bird that flies up out of the ashes?
Oh, that's the
Phoenix. Isn't it
yes,
the Phoenix? Yeah, the Phoenix. Although I'm under the wing of the Phoenix, I'm under Lee Rowley's over at Sales Copy Academy is taking under his wing. And, right, I've never been under the wing of a Phoenix.
Wow.
So I'll see what that's like. But we're
God.
going to start tomorrow, so I'll be able to learn a little bit about that. And I talked to Lee a little earlier today because, we got to get ready for this 81 to win. And, yes, I will post as soon as we get the official letter back from Guinness World Records. You get get a shingle. You get a little thing to go, oh, yeah, this is an official attempt. So we'll put that up for everyone to see. And then here's what we're going to be doing. All Natural Being, obviously, will be our show where we get together. It'll be the show that helps pass the torch to Thinking Re-Envisioned. Then we'll start working on 81 to win. But the rallying concept is going to be mortal up and don't let people push you around.
I love it.
Right?
And I think that's a great segue into everything that you've been doing. It is the next step you're taking on this path of yours, and I think it's very appropriate. This is really the direction you did. You're an all-natural being. You identified what it was. You've given the example. You lived your all-natural being, and and now you get to do the 81 to win, and then segue right into Mortal Up, because that's the next step. That's what we have to do, and I love it.
Well, thank you, my friend, very much. Lee says, can't wait. I can't wait either.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, the Neanderthal. Yeah, I should just do that, because ultimately, you see the ancestor DNA. Oh, well, we go way back. Well, I saw an article today that said they found a cave painting that's 50,000 years old.
See?
You go that far back, we're all Africans. You know what I mean?
Tell you, we're going to find out we're from the same tribe of Neanderthals. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Wait and see. Right? You go far enough back, we're all from the same continent. I think when the globe was first formed, what was it? Gowanda land? Was that it, or Pangea?
Yeah, you go. Yep.
One of the two. One of the two. So we were all from the same continent.
So two of them.
Yeah, ancestry DNA. Oh, or ancestry online, whatever it's called. Oh, we go way back. Nah, not far enough, Jack.
I'm getting signaled.
You are?
Signaled by my brother.
Okay, well, you better get going. Tell him to get out of my computer. All right, Henry, have a great show. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon. Bye. All right, so here's the scoop. Henry raises a valid point. Go ahead, stick around if you would. His show's going to start up here in like 3 minutes and 54 seconds. But here's what I'd like to make mention. The tumor had every intent of hijacking, right? The tumor had every intent, and it did damage my brain. But what are the philosophical tumors that you may have? What are the philosophical brain tumors that lead you to believe that you're fragile, that lead you to believe that you can't be happy, that lead you to believe you can't pull off absolutely anything you want? What about those philosophical brain tumors? And what if you could beat them back? Because I'll be honest with you, the real brain tumor, yeah, I think that was a bit of a challenge. I can't take much credit, right? I had a crack staff of doctors and the good folks here at the Columbus Cranium Shack. But I'm not instrumental. I played no role in removing of the tumor, so I really can't take a lot of credit. Yeah, maybe some of my recovery, maybe some of the things that I did to bolster my immune system, maybe a little bit of that. But it's the philosophical brain tumor that I had every bit of controlling. And I simply refused to lose. I wasn't going to let it beat me. And as I started off the show saying, there's nothing terribly, what is it, episode 362, I believe I said, there's nothing terribly special about me. There's nothing all that much different that separates you and I when we mortal up. People go, oh, what do I want to get to a higher consciousness. I go, I'm perfectly content with this consciousness. Oh, what about the next life? What the hell with the next life? What about this life? This life you know you have. What are you going to do? And what if you're held in judgment, and if there is a next life, and you're held in judgment going, really? You had a human brain and a human body with human grit and agility and stamina, and you used your head as a hat rack? Ironic in that I'm wearing a hat right now, but yeah. All right, so here's what I promised to do. You are special. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rita. So let me just look down here for the alarm to see when that's going to go off. David Ray, thank you very much. Oh, it's going off right now. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get ready to wrap and send it all over to Wayne. Thank you all so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. We'll be taking, Friday and Saturday off, that kind of thing. And we'll be back on Sunday. In the interim, remember to mortal up. Stick around. Henry's coming up now on Thinking Re-Envisioned here in just a minute. Thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. We will see you next week.